They say you can see your enemies coming from miles away. It's your friends that sneak up on you.
Welcome everyone. I am Miss Cookie the Queen of Kidz in the Kutt NYC. And we are tuned in to Real Talk Life with Mr. Angel Huertas, author of Rise to Grace, a genuine street story. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here with us.
It's an honor to be here.
Honored to have you here.
Thank you.
What a story.
Thank you.
An amazing story. And for the viewers and listeners, we will be discussing many parts of the book, but we're also going to touch your life currently, your transitions, and we're gonna have a couple of people come in.
Some special people.
Very special people.
Sure.
They mean a lot to you.
Yes.
I've gotten to chat a little bit with them, and I'm so excited to hear more.
So am I.
Armani.
Yes.
And the beautiful Barbara Medina.
Yes.
And we're gonna get deep into your personal life. You're gonna share a lot of your story in the book, but I'm gonna have a lot of questions that we wanna know. The viewers wanna know, I wanna know. And I think it's time for you to tell that story.
Timing is right. Timing is right. I'm ready for this.
I'm excited for you.
Thank you.
We wanna know more. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
I'm ready too. Let's do it then.
All right, let's do it. I was born and raised in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, South Side, right under the Williamsburg Bridge. My family, my mother and father, they're both from Puerto Rico.
Okay.
All right. I used to go around saying that I was Puerto Rican, but in Puerto Rico, they don't accept you to be a true Puerto Rican. So I'm what you call a New Yorican. All right, so I guess I'm a New Yorican.
They don't expect you because of your language?
Because of the way I speak.
Spanglish.
Yeah, Spanglish. There you go. For sure.
I'm New Yorican.
There
I
you
understand.
go. So you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they didn't. The first time I went over there, they were like, "What are you?" I said, "I'm Puerto Rican." No, yeah, Puerto Rican. Right. I'm in Puerto Rico. You know, this is who I am. You know, no, you're a New Yorican.
That's right.
And I'm like, New Yorican. I was like, and you know, this is way going back many years ago.
Right.
So I came back to New York. I'm like, wait a minute, they're calling me New Yorican. That's like literally the first time I heard that phrase. Yeah. And you know, we always.
But you're good with that.
Yeah, I was cool with it.
You questioned
came back.
it.
Yeah, I questioned it, and they're like, yeah, who said you was Puerto Rican? You a New Yorican. So
Great.
I guess I'm a New Yorican
So
from
you're not
Williamsburg.
fluent in Spanish?
No, ma'am. No.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very
for
interesting.
Sure.
Okay.
For sure.
Okay. A Latino. That was a Playboy.
That's right. You said it. Was.
Okay, being Puerto Rican, New Yorican, myself having the experience of living in Brooklyn and being Puerto Rican, it's kind of like a stereotype. You're a Playboy, of course. So you're Latino.
Used to. Yeah, I like to correct people. I walk down the block and people say, "What's up, Playboy?" I'm not Playboy anymore.
But you were a Playboy angel.
I was Playboy angel growing up in the hood.
Right, and
Yes.
you was a big time dealer during that time.
Yes.
A Don.
Oh,
some
you know
might
what?
Say.
You know, I'm glad you mentioned that.
Okay.
I was far from a Don.
Really?
Okay, I wasn't a Don. In the book, it clearly it says that the connection that I met, they wanted to turn me into a Don.
That's right.
All right, but before I can hit that status, I ended up getting shot, and because of me getting shot, I chose to walk away and never look back.
Well, let's not give them all of that yet.
Okay.
But I like the way you said, you clarified that,
Yes.
not a Don.
Now I was a small speck of sand in a very large beach, believe it or not.
That's nice. A small speck of sand, a very large beach, and you say that because?
Because I get a lot of people that come up to me and say, yo, hey, I read the book and yo, you big. No, I was just a drug dealer holding it down in the hood. All right.
You were just a drug dealer? I read the book. I
Well,
mean,
you know what?
I can't wait to question everyone else. And I don't like saying question. Get to know their side.
Right.
of Angel. But to say that you're just a joke.
Nah.
You were making money that minimum wage people don't make a year.
Yeah, and I was making a lot of money. Me and my team, we were doing it.
Doing moves, huge moves with big people, heavy hitters, and not only Brooklyn,
all around. San Francisco, Lower East Side. We went to San Francisco.
Yeah. You did your thing.
Yes.
And your team.
My team. Oh, at one point, I had the craziest team riding with me. You know, I mean,
it was intense. You put me in a place where I was like, am I reading my life somewhat? I could relate because it was my era.
Right.
Coming from Brooklyn, of course, you know I come from ENY.
Right.
But Brooklyn is Brooklyn.
Brooklyn is Brooklyn
BK
all day. For sure, all day. For sure.
And you know, it's hard to read a story and really focus. To me, it wasn't a story. I was actually feeling hands-on, like I was in this picture, like in my mind. Suppressed memories came out.
Well, you know, what was crazy about what you just said, it took me 5 years to write the book.
5 years?
Yeah, and the reason why is because, you know, as I was writing, I wanted people to feel it. When they pick up that book, I wanted them to turn the page and turn the page.
And not close the book.
And not close the book.
Absolutely.
And that reaction that you just gave me, I mean, I believe I did my job. I did it right.
You did. You did an absolutely amazing job.
Thank you.
Touched so many parts of me, in like, there was times I was angry. There was times I was sad. There was times I was laughing.
Yeah,
I mean, literally laughing.
It takes you on an emotional roller coaster.
But that's being the author, you honest, and me being the reader of it, you brought out these emotions, but at the same time, those were the emotions you were giving.
Right. Those are my emotions. That's exactly what I went through.
One of the questions that mean a lot to me, and I would really, you know, again, I relate, and I felt your pain. In the book, you describe how you felt when your dad passed away, your father.
That's a touchy question.
Very, very. And, you know, deep emotions you shared in your stories, because he was just in there. Like, in every storyline, somehow your dad came out.
Yes.
Or was there.
Yes.
And I want to ask you, how can you best describe the feelings that you truly have and had about your father being absent in your life? How did it affect you?
Every kid wants their father in their life, you know, and for me, him not being around, it was really, really hard. All right,
but he was around at times.
Well, yeah, but he once in a while he would pop his head in.
But it wasn't good.
Nah, I wasn't. That wasn't.
Can you share a little bit of that with us?
Like I said, he would pop his head in once in a while and try to be a father. But how can you pop your head in like every 4 or 5 years and expect your son to respect you?
Right.
It doesn't work like that, you know?
And you've been through so much already.
Yeah.
And he wasn't there. Did he know?
Did he know what?
The things that you were going through at such a young age while he wasn't there?
Nah, he was caught up in his own, you know, situation, the drugs, prostitutes. My father was a pimp. My father...
A playboy?
Yeah, he was a playboy, yeah, but nothing like me.
No, I'm just saying.
Nah, I was far from a pimp.
Right.
All right, my father, he cared more about the drugs and the women and the booze than his own seed. And for me, you know, I hit an age where I couldn't be around that. I was smart enough to know that, you know, you're not a father. You know, you coming in and out of my life, come on, dude, even I know, you know.
At such a young age, you had that.
Right, I know. I'm getting more love from the streets than I am my own father. And that's basically the story for every kid growing up in the hood. They don't have no guidance in the house, and what happens? You go to the streets for it.
Of course.
And I ended up somebody ended up picking me up.
Yeah, well.
You know, but going back to my father he was a bad man. He was.
He was a bad man.
Yeah, he was physically and mentally abusive to my mother, my grandmother.
Really?
Okay, yeah, this was a man that, again, he came in and out of my life. And, you know, he thought that he had it like that, you know, by doing that. And one day I was like, it's not it. I handle my own business, you know, and we never clicked. I did try at one point, as you read.
Well, you had good points. I mean, one of the things, the memories that you brought up, which I thought obviously was positive, was when you would say, you know, you were in the bathtub and you guys were there, and, you know, he grabbed you and you just felt him, you know, give you that love, and that was a positive and a wonderful memory. And he told you, Nene, you're special.
You know, that's the one memory that I have of my father that I truly love, and I would always take that with me. And I'm glad. As you can see, I'm like literally tearing up on something like that, you know. For a long time, I went around saying that I hated my father. Young man. Right. But now that I'm a man who understands life, I forgive my father for everything he's done. I truly forgive him. You know, I walked out of my father's life the day that he needed me the most. But being young-minded, I didn't know.
How could you?
Right. And I remember warning him about taking drugs, and, you know, I was tired of it. His wife always calling me to talk about, hey, you know, help me with him.
And you were in the game already.
I was already in the game, and like, I didn't want to deal with that. Right. You know, because of everything that I was subjected to, right, all the turmoil that he caused, you know, I didn't want to be a part of that. So every time I had to go see him, I was angry with him. So the last couple of times I had warned him, if I come here and you're drunk or you're high or whatever, I'm out.
So he knew you knew about his addiction, his disease.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you see, the thing is, I didn't know it was a disease.
You didn't?
Nah, I just looked at him. Right. I looked at him like a junkie. The way I was selling the drugs to all those junkies in the street.
That's the way we came from the street, and being in the game, that's what we grew up, you know, seeing. Those are junkies. Those are, you know, quote unquote crackheads or junkies. Right,
dope heads, whatever.
Right.
And my father, the last time that I saw my father alive, his wife called me up and she said, this one is bad. I need you to come. Help me with him, please. Who else am I gonna go to? So I was so angry, you know, and I remember jumping in the car, being very upset about that. And when I got there, he was a mess. He was literally throwing up, all right, talking to me like a junkie. So I remember looking at him saying, you know what? Oh, it was so hard because I told him, I said, you know what, I'm done with you.
At that moment?
At that moment right there, I said, you know what, I'm out.
Right.
And this man is throwing up, all right? What I didn't know was that he was throwing up his liver, right? He was dying in front of me. At that moment, it caught up to him. He was throwing up his liver. I'm just thinking he's throwing up because of the drugs, right?
And because you're in the game, that's what you...
Right, and the last thing I said to him was, I'm done with you. Don't call me. I don't want nothing to do with you. And I remember walking away from my father, right? And I remember him coming behind me and screaming. They call me Nene. My father gave me that name, Nene.
He did.
Yes, and he says, Nene, don't go, please. Don't go. Stay here. I'm gonna change. But me, because young-minded, dumb, I said, you know what, I'm gonna keep walking. I jump in my car and I leave. I get a phone call from my wife saying that they're rushing my father to the hospital. And even then, I was still upset. I was angry because I had to deal with it.
Also.
Oh, forget about it, forget this. I get to the hospital, and as soon as I get to the hospital, they're putting a blanket over my father. So, it crushed me. It crushed me, but it didn't crush me at that moment. It didn't, because at that moment I still didn't care. I didn't care.
So even when you're seeing them put the blanket over him, and you obviously know he's gone.
Yeah, I didn't care. In the funeral, I cried, but I I wasn't crying because I cared about him. I cried because I was pissed off because now I had to take care of his other brothers, my other brothers, you know, and, you know, kids that he left behind, which was sad. But now as time went by and I became a man who understands life, okay, I live with that pain every day.
You do.
I live with the pain of walking out on my father, and in all reality, I should have been there for him. But the beautiful thing about this interview is that I can let go. I can let go. And wherever you're at right now, Dad, sorry.
Angel, God bless you for real. He's here. I believe he's been with you the whole time. And that, to me, I feel that we need to share with the viewers, with the listeners, with your beautiful family and friends that are here, and myself. I feel that now is the time for you to let that out.
For sure.
And I'm sure he's very proud of you.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, I'll ask you if you can tell him anything else. Right now, if you had the opportunity to tell him anything and you do, this is your time.
Mm-hmm. Well,
what do you want to tell Dad?
Every night I pray to God, asking God to please let me dream about my father. To give me the opportunity to say, hey God, thank you. And at the same time say, Dad, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for walking out. But it never happens. So.
Say it now. Just say it now. If it just, he's here. Say it. Talk to your dad.
He knows. He knows.
You ready to let it go?
Yeah, for sure. I'm letting it go right now. There's no camera out there that's ever caught me crying. Never. I'm crying right now because you touched on something that means so much to me, you know. But I know my father's in heaven right now because before he died, he gave himself to the Lord, which is a blessing,
okay.
You know. And I know that right now he's looking down at me, and he is very proud of me, what I've done. And that's why I go to his burial every year, and I read a chapter of my book to him. Yeah,
That's awesome.
Yeah, letting him know that, yo, your son, I did it, Dad. You know, I did it. So
it meant a lot to you to be able to say that.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely.
How long has it been since Dad passed?
It's going on, 14 years. 14 years. No, I'm
So
sorry.
much
Let's backtrack. It's going like on 22 years. 22 years, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, God bless you. God bless him. And I'm glad that I was able to share this moment with you.
Thank you.
And your family. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
I'm proud to know you, and let me tell you, it's an amazing thing, and I feel him. And I strongly believe in that. He's here.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Angel, we're gonna get into this question now. Do you consider yourself a religious man? And if so, what are your beliefs?
I'm very religious. God Almighty, bottom line.
Amen.
You know, He saved me. How could I not believe in the Lord after my out-of-body experience? After being shot, you know, twice, and begging God for a second chance, and He gave it to me. And because of that second chance, I'm here with beautiful people like yourself.
Yes, thank you.
I got my family, my RTG family, my media family is here.
Definitely.
You know, got the whole camera crew here. You know, I mean,
You have
I'm
a great
a blessed
support system.
I'm a blessed man. Yes.
Amen.
Yeah, I'm a true believer in the Lord. True believer in the Lord.
Is there any specific? Some want to know. You know, is there any specific religion that you follow?
No.
It's all God.
It's all God.
It's just the belief
It's
of the
just
higher
the
power.
the belief that I have for Him is so strong. I mean, nobody can break that. Nobody.
I don't blame you. I mean, the story, again, Rise to Grace, a genuine street story. It is, in reality, what it says, what it's titled, what it's named, Rise to Grace. Why that name?
I had to rise to be a better man.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Overall,
the name.
That's it.
That's it.
And it is a genuine street story.
Yeah, you have to. After going through what I went through, you have to change.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't, you know, there's only two ways out of that life.
Yep.
That's death or jail. Okay? I had to before I had to rise, I had to learn how to rise.
Of course.
Okay? And, you know, I'm here. And that's what Rise to Grace is all about.
That's
to
right.
rise to be a better man.
And that's what you're doing.
Yeah, respectable man, loving man. loving
Respect is
father.
important to you.
Everything. Respect means everything.
You mention it in the book, just
Yeah,
about in
loyalty.
every chapter.
Respect, loyalty is everything to me. Rise to
important.
grace, absolutely.
Very important. God is able.
God is able, for sure.
God is able.
God is able.
How different are your dreams and aspirations from the time you were a young man?
You know what? As a young man, you know, I was born in the ghetto. Okay?
South side.
But south side of Williamsburg, okay? When being born, you don't know that you're poor.
Yes,
You don't know you're poor.
that's right.
Some people are born in Beverly Hills and some people are born in the ghetto.
Right.
You know? I had dreams like everybody else, you know, wanting to make it out, you know? I tried, so you know I tried. I tried to stay away from the hustlers, the pimps, the gangsters.
How'd you try?
Going out and getting me a job, working legit, you know, staying out of trouble. I had a gangster by the name of Martin. Right?
We'll be talking about Martin soon
Yeah,
too.
and he taught me how to dream.
Okay.
And he taught me how to, you know, believe in something better than the streets. So his thing was, you gotta work, you gotta go to school, you gotta stay out of trouble, stay away from this kid, stay away from that kid.
Martin,
Right.
in the book.
Yeah, Martin.
You said that.
Yeah.
And Martin is one of the key characters in your book. One of them.
Yes, one of them.
There's a few, and we'll go down through that. Have you ever thought that if you were from anywhere else, anywhere, you were born anywhere else, like you just said, you know, some Beverly Hills, where would it be? And would your life have been different? I mean, of course, it's an assumption, but
Yeah, you know what? First of all, I'm very happy that I was born and raised in Williamsburg, Brooklyn.
even though you've been through
I
all of this,
wouldn't change that. You kidding
That's
me?
cool.
I don't care about growing up in Beverly Hills. Let them deal with that over there. Me, I'm all day Brooklyn. All right, and I will always represent the neighborhood that I came from. You know,
it's not where you at, it's where you came.
that's right, for sure. I love that. You know, and you know, it doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter.
So you don't think your
Beverly Hills,
life would have been? You never thought of that?
Nope, nope.
That's awesome. Let's move on then.
sure.
Because honestly, a lot of people, you know, they're like, oh, and me myself, I'll make you laugh real quick just for a little bit, because my viewers love when I do this also. I wanted to go to Never Never Land. I didn't want to get old.
It's a dream.
Yeah, I didn't want to get old.
We dream.
I wanted to stay young, forever young. And it was just awesome. Everyone would hang out and just, and I came from Brooklyn. But that was me younger, as an older woman experience, as you said. I'm so happy I came from Brooklyn.
For sure.
Because it made me who I am today. It made you who you are today. And now, Rise to Grace.
Yeah,
You're giving back.
giving back.
You're going back to where you came from. You're giving back.
Yes, giving back to the kids, our youth.
Was that your ultimate goal?
You know what? When I wrote the book, yes.
Okay.
Bottom line, it was about saving kids, because for a long time after you know, I got shot and I lost everything. I didn't know my purpose. I didn't know, you know, what plan the Lord had for me.
Right.
I didn't know.
Okay.
And then one day, it just, you know, I ended up writing an article, and I ended up giving it to the baddest kid in the neighborhood. I mean, this kid was bad. And you know what? Let me rephrase that. There are no bad kids. They're just misguided kids.
Okay.
Okay? And yeah, I don't like to say that there's bad kids.
No, but I understand.
Yeah,
where
but you
you're-
understand,
yeah.
right? And I remember, you know, just putting this article in his hands, and the reaction that he gave me, it was like a bolt of lightning went right through my body, and I felt like I was being touched by God. Because for many years, I was always asking the Lord for that guidance. You know, I used to hear it everywhere. People used to say, Angel, you know what? God's got you here for a reason.
Right.
you know, you get shot up and you die.
Yeah,
He's
you
got
said
a
that
plan, right? He's got a plan for you. I used to say, what's the plan? I mean, come on. I scratch my head like, you know,
When
come
is it
on.
gonna happen?
Yeah, when is it
No.
going to happen, right?
Of course.
And it took many, many years for that day to come. But when it came, I was like, wow, okay, I know.
It was worth it.
Oh my God. It was like that reaction. I literally looked up in the sky and I said, I now know what you want me to do. You want me to share my story, okay, and save as many kids as I can. I said, you got it. I'm running with this.
Yeah.
And it took me 5 years to write the book. Really 4, but my lawyer had to cross the T's and dot the I's. Okay? And now we're here. And it wasn't about money.
Right.
It was never about money.
Right.
Never.
Different wealth.
Right. All right. The wealth, that came from the heart.
That's right.
And, you know, I get a joy out of talking to kids and sitting them down and just their reaction to me it means more to me than anything.
Of course.
Yeah. I wrote the book to save kids, to save lives, you know?
And you're doing it.
Yes. Not
You
only
really
with
are.
kids, but I'm also, you know, mothers, fathers, you know, they're
As I
picking up-
said.
Right.
I'm a living example.
Right. I get people like yourself that read the book and are blown away.
Yeah.
And because they see, they know.
Absolutely.
They came from the hood, they came from the ghetto, and you know they can relate with that.
Right. Absolutely. So that's the Save the Youth program.
Yes. Save the youth.
I love that.
Yes.
I'm all for that. You know, I once again raised in the street by myself.
Right.
You know, that's another story, but
Right.
I relate.
Uh-huh.
And when I saw what you were doing and the whole Rise to Grace family with the Save the Youth program, I commend you.
Oh, thank you.
We need more of that.
Well, you know what? I have an amazing team.
Yes, you do.
All right, and which I want to take this moment to say, Yvonne Burgos,
Yes.
Evelyn Quilez,
Yes.
Anna Vera, my diamond, my wife. You know, that's
course.
my support.
Amazing,
Yeah,
beautiful. Love
yes, for sure. You know, they do it not for money, but because of the message and the belief.
And
You
they
know,
feel it, they're
and they
into it.
feel it. Yeah, and I want to camera right there. I just want to say to you, ladies, thank you so much for everything that you do. It is truly a blessing to have you all in my life. Thank you.
Yes, and thank you as a mom who, you know, 4 beautiful boys. I love you guys. You know, I love the whole Rise to Grace crew. I mean, they're loving, they're family. So to me, I feel like everyone needs to look into them. I love all you guys. They're here, but I love them. I love them so much. Definitely, all you ladies, beautiful. They're a light.
Yes.
You know, they're a light. You guys are blinding, but I love it. I love it. Your energy, you know, we've all gone through our own experiences, and, you know, I'm starting to get to know everyone, and it takes time, but at the same time, what I see you guys doing with it, to be able to find a place where these children can go, where they can relate, they don't have to feel alone. That to me is an amazing thing. So
Yes.
God bless them. God bless the program.
Thank you.
God bless our children.
Thank you. Save our youth.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's what it's about.
It's just awesome. It
For
really
sure.
save our youth.
Yes.
All right. What is there, if there's anything you miss about Playboy Angel?
I don't miss nothing about Playboy Angel.
Nah, not a one thing.
Nothing. I don't miss
Not the money, not the lifestyle, nothing.
nothing. I lost. If I told you the number that I lost, you would fall off your chair.
I probably would. I probably
All right.
spit the story.
But you know what? You notice how I said lost? Did I?
Did you?
Nah. I have more today than I did selling drugs, hustling the streets. I have life. What's more beautiful than life? I grew up with guys that are dead. They're in jail doing life. All right? God gave me the opportunity. He gave me a second chance. There's nothing more sweeter than life. Nothing. And I'm going to take advantage of this life.
I hope you do. I
Yeah.
see you doing it.
Yeah.
You're doing your thing.
Sure.
And you know what? It's it's so refreshing to see that you're able to send that message out to these people who are still out there. And it's, you know, it's sad to say, and I keep it real talk, it's pathetic in a way, because you try to reach out and there are these older guys, or even not so old nowadays, that are in this drug dealing and in the hustle, and what they do is that they direct our children to think that it's easy money, and they're so vulnerable.
They're so vulnerable.
Like,
they're so misguided. That's a lot of these kids. They get caught up in that glamour of selling drugs and the whole lifestyle.
And here you are, an ex-drug dealer,
right,
heavy hitter, right, helping these kids, saying, "Hey, listen, this is me," and you give it to them raw.
Right, I give it to them raw. Yeah. I mean, I get into their minds. Once I'm in the mind, I snatch their soul. All right, by sharing my story with them, and a lot of them, they're like,
is this guy real?
Like, is this guy real? And then they'll go and they'll do research and find out that, hey, this guy is legit.
Absolutely.
You know, he's telling us the truth. And I've saved so many kids.
And that's awesome.
I believe I was even mentoring your son at one time.
Yes, you are. And you still are, because he is always asking, hey, Angel, and you have impacted my life. Your wife, Rise to Grace, has impacted me, not only with the book. It started with the story. And, you know, I was in a situation where I didn't know where to turn. And what did I do? First thing, risetograce.com. I didn't know how to contact you. It was late. And you have your comment box, and I need help. I don't know what to do. I don't even remember exactly. I know it was slurred out, but it was an amazing feeling of like born again, because you like called immediately the next, and actually it happened early in the morning,
and you called
like, and I said, is this guy for real? And you sat on that phone with me, and I felt safe. I felt comfortable with telling someone what I was going through, and it was because of your story. It's because of what you've been through, where I didn't know who else to turn to, because my son was out of control. Right. And you saw it hands-on. You were the only person, and my son is 20 years old, the only person, and he's been in this nightmare for 11 years.
Yes. And that's exactly what, that's the night, that was a major nightmare. Your son? Yeah. That had to be one of the hardest cases
that you've dealt with. And I laugh because, you know, it's not even a laugh, it's refreshing to know that when I told you, I said, listen, I know you've been through a lot, and I know you've had your experiences with kids, but this one, oh, he's a case. And you're like, I said, no, I don't doubt you got this, but prepare. Then I tell you to prepare for something you're gonna be like, whoa.
There you go.
And I strongly believe in karma. Okay, growing up, I wasn't an easy one to deal with, but I was a 4'0" little, you know, Boricua, Siciliana from East New York. And I had to do it on my own. So my kids, they saw that I transcended, I grew. I said, you know what, I'm out. Yeah, I left Brooklyn.
You did it.
Till today, okay, till today, I tell myself, why did I leave Brooklyn? I went to suburbia. I went to Long Island. I had the picket fence, the house, the cars, the businesses, the husband, the cop. My son became a gang member.
I know.
10 years old. After I left East New York to avoid him doing it.
And now where is he today, man?
He's rising to grace.
There you go.
All of this happened for a reason. Yeah. And my son could have been dead. Yeah. And many people say, he's supposed to be dead right now. Right. He's not, thanks to you. Thanks. Because honestly, your words, your guidance.
Yeah, but you know what? It's not only me, it's you as well. You know, I can't do it by myself. No. It takes, you know, a strong mother, strong father. You know, a lot of parents give up on their kids. Yeah. You chose not to give up on your kids.
And you saw the hands on.
Yes.
It was Angel, you know, Lupe, I know Yvonne, everybody. Right. I mean, and you guys were all I mean, anyone out there, and I have to the camera, anyone out there that's going through any situation that you feel you cannot grasp, you cannot put your psyche around, you feel lost, Rise to Grace, risetograce.com.
For sure.
Pick up the book. Look for more that's coming. So
Yeah,
much
sure.
more coming, definitely. But again, we must continue.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to mention some names out of the book.
Okay.
I want you to tell us where are they now. Okay? Rick,
Don't know.
Fearless,
Dead.
Martin,
Dead.
Josh,
Dead.
Mercedes.
Last I heard, Mercedes, she got caught up in some big drug deal with the feds and shipped her off.
Yeah, because she was big in that.
Yeah,
Okay.
she was big in that. She continued to do her thing, with that lifestyle, and sad. She ended up getting caught up in that. That was a sad one.
It is sad.
Yeah.
So being a female, I can, understand that too. Now this person, Mr. Joe Nasiri.
Greatest man in the world. Blessed. I was blessed to meet him. He taught me how to be a man, if you want to say it.
Okay.
In the workforce,
In the corporate.
Yeah, in the corporate world.
Okay.
He gave me the tools I needed to be successful at where I'm at today with my company.
So your structure comes from Joe Nasiri.
Absolutely, absolutely. Fortunately, he never got to see the man I've become. After meeting him, he passed away fast. I knew him for like 2 years. He had lupus.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and he ended up passing away. And but I always go back. Yeah, I always go back to his burial, and I
You
read,
do?
Yeah, and I read to him like my father.
You give back,
Yeah,
right? Like we
yeah,
said.
I always give back. Always
That's a
give
great
back.
thing.
Yeah, sure.
You sit there and you talk with him.
I'm sorry.
You sit there and you talk with him and you read from the book and you also just...
Yeah, and I like if he's standing right there, and I'll his smile, the way he used to smile at me, he was such a gentleman. I remember getting into an argument with my wife in front of him one day. He pulls me to the side. He's like, "What are you doing?"
Really?
He goes, "That's your lady, man." So I looked at him like, "You know what? You're right. That is my lady." And he taught me.
Sounds like a beautiful man.
He was. He was a beautiful man, and that's why I always go back to his burial and I read to him. Just this. And the thing is, where I'm a salesman, I'm like all over the place, and my boss is gonna kill me because I pass by his cemetery along my route, and I'll pull over real quick, go inside, all right, and say, "Hey Joe, what's up?" And I'll clean the grass, whatever, and say, "Hey man, I'm just popping by,
It's like, wow.
just to let you know I'm doing okay."
It's a good thing. It's a great thing. It's what, one of the things we're going to focus on with bringing on Barbara
Yes.
and Armando, the transition.
Yes.
Brooklyn. In Brooklyn, or in many places, but in the streets, we pour out for our lost homies.
The liquor.
That's right.
Right.
It's transcending. It really is the transition. Well, there's still people that do it, but I believe that what you're doing by going over there and saying, "Look, here I am." See, that to me is a transition in itself.
For sure.
You're breaking that stereotype, typical, okay, I gotta do it like this. No, you grew in time. You've experienced so many things. You become a better person. You haven't forgotten your roots.
Never.
You haven't, and I respect you. I commend you for that. A lot of people want to totally erase.
You can never forget where you came from.
No.
Never. And I've had this conversation with my wife. You can never forget, because forgetting is forgetting who you are today as a person.
Exactly.
You
You
know
had
what
to
I'm saying?
go there.
Yeah, you had
get
to
here.
go through all that to be who you are today. So you can never forget where you came from. I never forget, and that's why I always give back.
Is that a message that you want to let everyone know? Don't forget. I mean, I tell them all the time. My viewers, my listeners know I have gone from Brooklyn and Long Island to Michigan here. I never forget where I came from, because
sure.
I want to make sure that those women, especially women and children from those neighborhoods, realize, listen, if Cookie could do it, and
That's
look at
right.
her there.
That's right.
I could do it too.
That's part of my pitch with these kids. You know, if I can do it,
Yeah.
right, if I can walk away from that life, go out and get me at the time a $5 an hour, because that's what the position was starting with.
Minimum wage.
Right. How do you make $15,000 a day, right? And here you go and you get yourself a job making $5 an hour. How do you do it? I'm a perfect example of that. Okay? You can do it if you want it. You got to start building your foundation.
And you got to let go of some of that pride.
Yeah, for sure.
That street pride will keep you where you are.
That's right.
You have to move forward.
That's
you
right.
have to take all of these examples, Latinos, Latinas, okay, doing their thing, being strong. I mean, I'm not categorizing us. I'm not categorizing at all. But the fact of the matter is, we can do it.
Yes.
It doesn't matter how you look. You can wake up. You can feel good about yourself. Here's an example, an amazing example.
Thank you.
And thank you for letting me share this with you and my son.
Oh, of course.
All right, and I really appreciate it. I really want us to take a break.
Yes.
Come back.
Yes, when we come
Beautiful
back.
Barbara Medina.
My man Amandi.
Yeah, and we're gonna sit down and talk
we're
about
gonna-
this Brooklyn transition.
Yes.
Southside, Williamsburg.
For sure.
I'm Miss Cookie.
All day, every day.
Mr. Angel Huertas. Rise to Grace. We'll be right back.
Rise to grace.
Welcome back, everyone. Once again, I'm Miss Cookie the Queen, and we are here with Angel Huertas, and we just added on to the panel the beautiful Barbara Medina and Armando, childhood friends and
adult friends still.
Yeah, well, there you go. They're still together.
Still together.
Yeah,
Sure.
so we're gonna put you now on the hot seat more. Yeah, Barbara and Armando. I'm gonna ask you a couple questions. Not get crazy, Barbara's like, We're gonna talk about Brooklyn,
All day.
the transition. You all are from Southside?
Yes.
Born and raised.
Born and raised. Wow, we got Brooklyn in the house heavy today. Love it. You know, obviously you guys are here because you're special to Angel. So if you're special to Angel, you're special to me. I want to know if you guys could elaborate before we get into the whole transition. What do you guys think about this guy? Like, what does he mean to you?
He's all right.
He's okay.
She's just all right.
You know, he's all right. That's a friend that I'm proud to call a friend.
Thank you.
You know, I know a lot of acquaintances, but Angel, it's been years and years. And actually, when he did the book, he actually reached out to me because I was one of the people that he said that he never had any problems with or anything. When we saw each other, it was always love. You know what I mean? And he actually reached out to me so I can be part of this whole movement of his, and I'm proud to be part of it.
Amazing.
Thank you. Thank you very much, man.
You feel good about that?
That's my man all day.
I just want to say, he put my name in the book.
Yeah.
That was the next question. Are you in here?
He put my name in the book, but
I used his name.
He's used my name.
I used his name.
You know, he told me after the book was published.
Oh, after, how kind.
Thanks.
Yeah, well,
Nah, but it's cool. It's cool that
at first I wanted to surprise him because I knew he was one of the guys that was going to read the book. You know, I wanted his name because out of everybody, you know, in the South Side, you know, who I grew up with, you know, Amandi was one of the guys that, you know, there was just love and respect. It was always there. There was never any animosity. You know, whenever we saw each other, you know, there was a lot of love.
Respect,
you know,
a lot of
respect and loyalty. You know, and because of that, he's here with me today. And you know, I'm gonna go on record. And when Rise to Grace hits that level, Amandi's one of the guys I'm bringing with me all day, every day.
How do you feel about that? Obviously,
about that statement.
You know, it's on the record.
Yeah, for sure.
How do you feel about that?
Oh, I'm happy to be part of it. Like I said, he reached out and I was there.
Always.
So we're gonna do whoever does anything positive amongst
sure.
our friends. You know what I mean?
God bless you.
Take
Absolutely.
the other with us if we can.
I respect that.
Sure.
Barbara. She's like, tell us your experience.
It's funny because I always say, Angel, how does it feel to look at yourself?
Yeah.
You know, that's a big thing. It's a weird history, but knowing Angel for the short period of time, not knowing that there was a long-term history, it was something, it was crazy. But now that we got to know each other, and we knew each other back then, but it was I mean, it's complicated.
Okay.
But
I like complicated.
it's complicated.
I'll
but
drool.
Today, when I look at Angel or speak to him, how do you like to look at yourself?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, she's got an incredible story.
Yeah.
For sure. They both do, you know. But Barbara Medina has come a long way
Yes, she
as well.
has.
And if it wasn't because of her transition, you know, she wouldn't be here.
That's right.
All right.
And
But
we're gonna
because-
reflect on that soon.
Yeah, but because of, you know, the love and respect that I have for these two, you know, I chose to pull them into this. And then we could talk a little bit about the neighborhood. And who
Yes.
better than to talk about the neighborhood than the people that
Absolutely.
actually came from that neighborhood, who was born and raised in that neighborhood.
Right.
And these two are,
And have grown.
oh, absolutely.
You guys have grown, and yes, the word today is transition, because honestly, you have. I'm going to direct to Barbara first. You have, I read briefly your bio, you come from Southside, you come from Brooklyn, Williamsburg, from such an amazing story you guys are part of. Let's start with you. You are doing so much for the community. And you have done so much for the community. How do you feel Brooklyn is today, Southside especially, is today compared to the 80s when you were living those times?
Wow, I come from Williamsburg from the 70s, actually.
Oh,
I'm not
okay.
even telling my age.
God bless you.
The transition is amazing in the way you look at it, and but going a little bit back then and giving to the community today. Not just that community, but a lot of other communities that our people can relate to the hardship our family's gone through,
That's right.
and where we come from, who we are. Moving forward to the transition that's in Williamsburg, like I can't believe, like, supposing if I look at the corner of South Second and Havermeyer, and you look at it today, it's just totally different.
Can you draw a picture?
Absolutely, and I'll just give you a scenario, and it's something that we touched on before. I went back to the South Side just a couple of days ago, and I don't know if I texted you. Did I text you? Because I
think
CC'd
you
a lot of
did.
people. And I was sitting down looking what was around me, and I was like, I remember walking past Havermeyer and South 3rd and South 2nd, where remember Dr. Rose? Remember that? Dr. Rose
The
was
steps
there?
up the steps.
Yeah,
The steps, right.
It's like if you lived there
Right.
back then, you know what we're
Right.
talking about. Now there's a building there, but that used to be a yard, an abandoned building that had a yard with burned cars and everything. That was our playground.
Yeah.
Mattress, old mattress on the
Needles
ground.
on the
or
floor,
needles.
cracked bottles
That
on the
was,
floor.
Like, I don't know if you.
I mean, I compare it to like when we grew up. It was such a bad neighborhood, but we lived in it like, let's say the people in Lebanon and stuff. When you see that in the news, where you see, you know, kids walking going to school and a bomb burnt, you go, and they're not even running scared. They feel
common.
safe. Yeah, they
Yeah.
feel that's just commonplace. That's what it was. So you grew up not thinking anything different from that.
Right.
That's all you knew. So I knew there was danger around me all the time in that neighborhood, but I felt safe in that neighborhood.
Because that's
I
what you
felt
knew,
safe walking
and that's
out.
what you say in
Right.
the book as well. It's
Right.
something you're used to. It's common to you. Not to have that, it's different. You know.
So growing up there and then looking around you when I was there, and I just started texting, and I was saying it's amazing the transition and the gentrification that's there.
Yes, a lot of
Right,
justification.
and I'm looking around and I'm saying, wow, it's amazing how now the gentrification process happened, kicked in, took place. Never mind that it's happening, it
Right.
happened.
It happened.
It happened. You have 65% of the Latinos that are no longer there, maybe even higher.
Yeah.
But the ones that stood there, and I started looking around, and I remember the old faces, and I'm saying, wow, I remember sitting in that stoop. It's amazing how I saw a couple of people, you know, in my little bit of my history, that now that they look like they're recovered addicts, and I look at them, and I'm saying to myself, it's amazing how, I think you read that, and I said, those who stood behind lost themselves and never
lost
had the
themselves.
opportunity to move forward
Right.
and take advantage of the process and the gentrification, the different atmosphere, the great things that came into the neighborhood.
A lot of
now.
growth.
A lot of, definitely,
Absolutely.
a lot of, and wealth that came into the
Okay.
neighborhood, opposing to the way when we grew up,
Right.
the wealth that we had was the drug dealing.
Exactly.
Right.
That was the wealth. We were the high-end hitters, you know, so it's different today, you know, but the transition is amazing.
Yeah,
Isn't it
transition
amazing
is
how
amazing.
now when you go back, we look, and you said it, Armando, it was something that we were used to. And you go back now and you don't see it as we did when we were younger. Oh, we got to grow up. We want to be like him, have those cars and have that money. Being a drug dealer was the thing to be when we got older.
Yeah.
And we didn't need to be that old. And look at, disrespect, disrespect the elders, because, there was respect for those certain elders. But you go back now and you don't look at you like drug dealer.
Right.
Because, you see, but back then we didn't see that. Did you guys feel that way when you went back? Did you feel like, wow, look at the transition to the point where if they were to see a drug dealer now in your neighborhood, he would be the one people would look at like,
what's up with that?
What are you doing here? What is this?
What's up with that?
One of the things that I look back on, and I was listening to Angel talk about his father, that in the book, many people can relate to our parents. Yes. And I think that at the beginning of the book, expressing how he felt, that was the first thing growing up, was the image of our parents, the needs of our parents, the hardship that they had.
That's right.
And the resources that we have today that they didn't have back then.
Exactly.
And I remember when I would go downstairs and I would play in the stew, my mother would be like, Barbara! So I already know. But I had that connection with my mom, opposing for when my dad would come by and honk the horn. I was like, hi, Papi Joe. So I would come down and I would see, when I'm listening to Angel talk about that, and, I'm not Barbara.
All day we having problems with your name. It's a good thing.
He hit such a big nerve because there was no guidance back then for us. We didn't have that.
None.
And our parents were ignorant as well. And I'm sorry, but it was the truth.
Yeah, it's true.
We had like 60, as many as left. It was as many that didn't give us those guidance. So growing up in the streets, and here we are, you look back and you're like, wow, our parents really didn't have anything.
Right.
And before I used to be angry, but now I'm not angry because I understand. My mother didn't have it. She didn't know.
Right.
My mother was a wonderful woman. She passed away, but I have to tell you, before I was like, oh, she's such a chicken head. But I didn't understand.
Right.
How could you understand being young?
But my father to me was everything.
Yeah. You daddy's little girl?
Something like that.
I love it.
But that's the things, and I see kids today, and I said, wow, it's just so amazing.
So from the lifestyle you guys lived in the 80s in Southside Williamsburg to today, is there any memory that really stand out? Any special thing you guys did that represents that where you come from? Do you understand? Like if you could go back, you say playing in the lot with the needles or this. We used to grow up. We used to go to Rockaway. Ride Playland was in Brooklyn. It was in upstate. We had Far Rockaway Beach. We had our moments. You guys have anything that you guys?
Oh, I'll start off with me. I remember just playing Skelly a lot.
Skelly.
Yeah, I remember taking a piece of chalk and writing the board down and just getting. I believe I played Skelly with you one time on South First. I got you on Skelly.
You still owe me like 50 cents.
Yeah, you owe me. What are you talking about? Yeah, I remember playing a couple of games with Armani. Yeah, for sure. But that's one of the things that we did for fun. We didn't have no parks. There were no parks. Yeah, hopscotch. What's that? Hopscotch and butter? What is it?
Hot piece and butter.
How are we going way back?
Coco Ringo, forget
it.
it.
Red light, green light, 1, 2, 3.
Pony.
Dr. Goose.
Yeah. So these are things that we did for fun.
You taking me there? You see now you got me.
Yeah. Again, there was no parks. There was no parks. Our parks was the abandoned buildings. Like I wrote in my book, we used to play manhunt in these abandoned buildings.
In the cars.
And the cars, right? Playing the cars, right? And always in these abandoned lots, without a doubt, there was always crack bottles and needles and everything. But that was what we did for fun, was playing in the dirt mountains, abandoned buildings.
What
that
a
was
change.
fun.
Definitely. There were some buildings that I remember growing up in my childhood, and I'll go on the other side, South Fork, there were some buildings that were there. I would run up the stairs, down the stairs, and there would be people thrown on the floor.
Yeah.
To me,
Right.
they were junkies, but to me, they were just people sitting down.
Right.
And I didn't understand. And then I would just run back down. My mother was like, mira, sal de ahí. And I was like, well, no, I'm just playing hide and seek with the guys, or try to catch me if you can. And these are the things that we
This is
saw
amazing.
growing up.
Looking at you guys, yeah. I guess because I can relate being from Brooklyn, a different side of Brooklyn. That's the way we all stand.
Brooklyn.
I look and I'm proud. This is my culture. This is my life. I see that. To be able to sit in front of 3 amazing people. Look at you. You know, look at you. Go ahead, girl. Latina. You know, yes, I emphasize that because you're doing it. You know, and I guess it was because it was just so hard to grow up without the mother and the father, and,
No
and
guidance,
when you say
right, no
we
guidance.
live the streets,
Right.
even if we had that at home, we still live
No,
the
but
streets
that's
because
what I
the
was going to
streets.
say, because I was raised my mother raised 5 kids working out of a factory. We never needed anything. Like, we always had our clothes, we always had dinner. I don't know how the hell she did it, working out of a factory, but everything was there. And my mother tried as hard as she could. But she had 5 kids, she was by herself, she had to work all day. You come out of school, you head out to the streets, you know what I mean?
It was a routine.
Yeah, you're doing your stuff regardless as hard she tried. She couldn't watch 5 kids at the same time. She had to be at work. So even if you had the guidance there, you were still gonna get caught up.
Right. The
Because that's
streets
all it,
raised
that's all it was, and that's all there was.
Yeah.
And
it's
I just want to
huge.
make a point that I look at the South Side and Angel, and it correlates, because it went from abandoned buildings and drug dealers on the corner, and that's what Angel was.
Right.
Now the neighborhood is a great neighborhood.
Beautiful.
It looks great. And
Beautiful
my
neighborhood.
My man Angel he came full circle. He used to drive Mercedes Benz and all that while as a drug dealer. And today, as a successful salesman for his company, he drives a Benz.
That's right.
He came full circle. He's still driving a Benz.
You see
He's
that?
still wearing suits. He's just doing it. He's using his hustle the right way now.
Exactly.
You know? So he's
Which
still
goes
doing
to
what
show.
he's always done. He's just doing it. He put the focus on something different.
Right.
And that's why I got him on the panel. That's real talk. Real talk. For
That's
sure.
right, and he's right about that. Hustling,
Yeah, you know, he is.
Hustling is a word that could be.
There's many ways of hustle.
Thank you. And in life, it's always about hustle when you want to succeed.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing in life comes easy, and if it does, it won't last long. Example, okay? And it's great to see that Brooklyn has this. Williamsburg, stand up. Here you go. South Side. It happened. Look outside your windows if you're still there. If not, you heard it from the panel. Mr. Angel Huertas.
I'll get the book.
Barbara Medina.
book.
Yeah.
Getting there. That's right. Right to Grace. This is not the original cover,
No.
but we're gonna do that at closing. All right, we're gonna do a little brief breakdown.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna take another break. Thank
you.
you guys for being here.
Thank
These
you.
guys are great. Armando, Barbara Medina. I'll see you again. Expect more. Rise to Grace, Angel Huertas. We'll be right back.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Peace.
Welcome back, everyone. And unfortunately, it's the end for now.
For now,
All right. Thank you
Part
so
one.
much. This is part one.
part 1 of many more to come.
You already heard it. You see, I have it in proof. Thank you
sure.
so much, guys. Really, all of you. This is the beautiful RTG family. Rise to Grace.
Yes.
Angel, thank you so much.
It was
Honestly,
pleasure was mine. You
It
kidding
was
me?
an honor, and thank you for sharing your story, both in the book Rise to Grace, the genuine street story. Make sure you guys get that. Where can they get it?
They can pick it up at www.authorhouse.com. That's my publishing company.
Okay.
But it's also in every Barnes and Noble bookstore. It's in Amazon. It's everywhere.
All right, so we're going to definitely have you take off the show. I just want to give everyone a little bit of credit. Thank you, Barbara.
Thank you.
Love you so much. You're so sweet. Definitely check her out. Also, Barbara Medina. I'm getting like emotional now because seriously, you guys, your wife.
Yes, my
I
diamond.
really have to thank so much from the bottom of my heart for sharing your husband in this way. You're a beautiful, amazing woman. I look up to you, sweetheart. You go, girl. You're a diva, but a wonderful one. Que Dios te bendiga. All the crew here. Got Yvonne, got Anna, Sammy. Armando somewhere back there. I'm hijacking.
We also have Evelyn Quiles,
That's right.
who's she's holds down the Florida division.
Yes.
I want to say What's up, Evelyn? Peace
Hello
and love,
to everyone out. Yes, definitely. Rise to Grace is in Florida also.
Yes.
And in many other places, he will definitely tell you that. I want to thank all my viewers and listeners, and definitely continue to follow me. As I said, Miss Cookie the Queen. Thank you again. Rise to Grace. Real Talk Live. We'll see you next time.
Peace.
God bless.
When the weight of the world comes crashing on my shoulders, I keep pushing